Hello, YouTube. How's it going? How was your week so far? I had to ride to the office today and I rode my bike home and I got sweaty, so I needed to shower. So I'm going to have wet hair for the stream. But oh well, what have you been watching on TV? I've been watching Utopia on Amazon Prime and I'm really sad it's only one season and I'm almost done. Have you guys watched Utopia at all? And if so, did you like it? Don't give any spoilers, but I want to know if you liked it. And I looked up to see if there is a season two, and there's not. And that makes me really, really sad. So, hi, Lisa and Demi, and Lori's going to be here on the replay. No worries, Lori. Thank you guys for joining. Today, I'm excited pressed the wrong button. Today I'm excited to do another different kind of video on my channel. We are going to talk about Airbnb scams, something new to me, but that I really enjoyed looking at. I'm sure we've all stayed in an Airbnb before, and I think it's really important that we are aware and educated on the kinds of potential scams that we could potentially be victimized, be targeted through, and just making sure we're safer while we're staying in a city we probably don't know, in a new place, and we can just make sure we're safe and we have a secure place to stay. Okay, so that's what we're doing. I zoomed in on this so I could read it. I'm really excited. All right. Airbnb, I should clarify what that means. Short-term rentals, people can rent out their whole home or a room in their home, apartment unit for like short term. You can rent it for a few days, for a week, and depending on what city you're in, it could be cheaper than staying in a hotel, which is surprising. Okay, are we ready? Airbnb scams are fraudulent activities or scams that target hosts or guests. Hosts or guests. Hosts are the ones who are renting out their home, part of their home, on a short term basis. The majority of the scams we're looking at today target the guests, not the hosts, but there are scams that target the hosts as well. These scams take many forms and may involve fake listings, phishing scams, overpayment scams, theft and damage scams, or identity theft scams. Scammers often create fake Airbnb listings or impersonate legitimate hosts in order to trick users into sharing their personal and financial information or to steal their money or property. Being aware of Airbnb scams is important for several reasons. Firstly, falling victim to a scam can result in financial loss and potentially even identity theft. Scammers may steal credit card information or request payment outside of Airbnb's secure payment system, leaving users vulnerable to fraudulent activity. Never pay for Airbnb services outside of the Airbnb system. Never, never do that. Charlie! Hey, I feel like I haven't seen you in a little while. Maybe I just don't remember, but it's great to see you. Thank you for joining. We're doing a different kind of video than what you're used to on my channel, Airbnb scams. But I'm happy you're here. Thank you for joining. Airbnb just seem inherently unsafe to me personally. I feel like there's a lot more ways to get scammed or put in unsafe situations since it doesn't seem like oversight is very good. Exactly. And we're going to see that, Demi. Great point. Hello, Neil. Lovely to see you. Thank you for joining. Yeah, it has been a while. So I haven't been forgetting because, yeah, I was thinking, I was like, I haven't seen Charlie in a bit. Since you've been here last, Charlie, I've been making some changes to my channel and I'm trying to think of different kinds of topics instead of just anti-MLM. I might want to do a hockey video because I have a lot to say in the hockey world. That might be coming. We'll see. Okay, where was I? Scammers may steal credit card information or request, we already did that. Additionally, scams can ruin the experience of using Airbnb, leading to disappointment and frustration for both hosts and guests. By being aware of scams, users can take steps to protect themselves and their personal information. This includes researching hosts and listings, using Airbnb's messaging system, reading reviews, and checking host verification, and being cautious of deals that seem too good to be true. Taking these precautions can help prevent scams and ensure a safe and enjoyable experience on Airbnb. Furthermore, reporting any suspicious activity to Airbnb can help protect other users. Yes, report it, but we're going to learn later that Airbnb does not always do what they should regarding refunds and protecting the safety of the guest. So yes, report it, but they may not actually care, and they may not do anything about it. Hello, Tori. Thank you for joining. It's lovely to see you. I don't know. I don't know. I might not do just scams, but I am enjoying this content personally. I'm not sure. I like the idea of wire transfer scams because I did see one where a man lost over $600,000 because he thought he was working with a legitimate investor. I feel like that might be too, investor consultant kind of, like through a bank. That might be a little bit too complicated for me. I might do that. I'm honestly not sure. The Canadian Anti-Fraud Center has a list of all different types of scams, and I may just look through that and pick some interesting ones. But if you guys have any ideas, I'd love to hear it. Yeah, who've used them and swear they'll never rent one again. Yeah, I've only used it once and I've had a good experience. I've had some friends and family members who've used it several times and they had a good experience. But there's, like Demi said, there's so much space for not safe conditions and your needs and your safety as a guest not being protected by Airbnb. So here are the types of scams. And you'll see some of these are very similar. This one especially is similar to the rental scams video we did, where scammers will have a fake listing and it will seem too good to be true and it will be a very low cost. And then you realize you're fucked when you get there because maybe you're expecting a lovely 3-bedroom apartment and you get there and it's a trashed studio apartment with stains all over the couch and holes in the wall, and you don't really have a choice because you already paid hundreds of dollars for this apartment. You're in a city that you likely don't know anyone in. Maybe you don't have money to go off to a hotel, and you may or may not be stuck, and Airbnb may or may not care and try to get you a refund. Okay, Charlie's had good and bad experiences. Interesting. Okay. Scammers create fake listings on Airbnb to trick guests into booking and payment for a property that does not actually exist. They may use photos and descriptions from real listings to make the fake listings look more legitimate. And the one time we used Airbnb, the apartment looked exactly the same as the listing, and she was actually very honest in saying, because of where I'm located in the city, it is very loud, so you will hear lots of noise from the street, and it's very, very hot, and I only have one fan. Right? So she was very honest in the listing. And so when we got there, we already knew it was going to be hot and we already knew it was going to be loud. And she even said that when I was communicating with her within the Airbnb app. Not sure if you saw this in the listing, but these two issues exist with the apartment. Are you okay with that? So I had a good experience the one time, but looking into this topic, I could see how your experience with Airbnb can go downhill really, really fast, and there's not much you can do, unfortunately. Scammers send emails or messages that appear to be from Airbnb asking for personal or financial information. These messages often contain links to fake websites that mimic the Airbnb website. I can't believe I forgot about this until this second. Okay, I have this on my phone. You guys can trust me. I'm not making it up. It was an Airbnb phishing. I don't know if it's a phishing scam, if it's through text, but I did receive one and I want to read it to you. You won't be able to see it, but I screenshotted it on my phone because I wanted to read it for this video. I thought it was interesting. 50-50 split as far as what their experience was. Interesting. Yeah, it could go either way. One Airbnb that I rented for the weekend came with a pregnant cat. Oh my goodness, Charlie. She was a pretty nice cat, though. I'm glad the kitty was nice. Jeez, that's terrible. Okay. Do you guys know if it's a phishing scam if it's through text? But okay, it's just a screenshot though. This is what my text said. Hi, Airbnb invites you to join the B&B Review Experience program. We are looking for the right members to join us and help our merchants get the best views and visibility. You can work from home. You only need 1 to 3 hours per day to complete the work and earn 100 to 1800 Canadian dollars per day, limited places. If you are interested, you can click on the WhatsApp link to contact the receptionist. No one under 25 years old. We need the right people. And then I see here there's a bit.ly link. And my husband told me that bit.ly links are used to try to scam people, but it disguises the website address. So the user, the person who got the text, does not know where the website is going to lead them if they click it. This is obviously a scam. This is how I got the idea for this video. If you Google B&B Review Experience Program, it does not exist. Of course, you only need to work 1 to 3 hours a day and you make an exorbitant amount of money for very little work. It doesn't actually tell you what you're doing in this job. I wish I could put it up on screen, but that's okay. It doesn't actually tell you what you are doing in this job. Of course, there's limited places and there's a false sense of urgency. You know what? I think I may put this in my community tab because I want everyone to see it. I'll just make sure I like crop out any personal information. There isn't any because it's just a screenshot, but this is also an unrelated or connected Airbnb scam. It's just not connected to like a host scam, but it's more job/Airbnb scam. And I thought that was interesting. Okay. Overpayment scams. Scammers pay for a booking with a fraudulent credit card and then ask the host to refund the difference via a wire transfer or other untraceable method. The host later finds out that the original payment was fraudulent and they are left responsible for the overpaid amount. Theft and damage scams. Guests intentionally damage or steal items from the host's property or claim the items were damaged or missing when they weren't. Identity theft scams. Scammers use personal information obtained from Airbnb users to commit theft or identity theft or fraud. Multiple listings. Scammers create multiple listings for the same property, often with different prices and descriptions in order to confuse or deceive guests. And there's a few cases while doing my research that there would be a fraudulent posting posted under someone, say, named Sam, and Airbnb would delete Sam's listings, but then say under the name of William, the exact same listing would come up, but just under a different name, under a different Airbnb account. And this William person, I don't remember if this is in one of the articles I have, maybe, but I don't remember. This William person, who's the same scammer who had their listings removed, continues to scam people. Okay, doctored images. Scammers may use doctored or edited images to make a property look better than it actually is. And you think you spend $400 a night on this lovely luxury 4-bedroom apartment, and then you realize it's some trashed, dirty studio apartment, and say you're with your kids, and you and your kids are staying in an unclean, unsafe environment. Maybe you were told it was in a really nice part of town, and it's actually in a trash part, and it's dangerous, and you were lied to. You were lied to, not just through doctored images, but a fake listing as well. Can you imagine that? You're with your kids in a new city. You think you found them a good place to stay, but it's actually not. That's terrible. That's terrible. Okay. Scammers may gain access to an Airbnb user's account and use it to book fraudulent listings or steal personal information. Fake reviews. Scammers may post fake positive reviews to make their listings look more appealing to potential guests. So these are some common Airbnb scams. How to avoid Airbnb scams. This is important. Research the host and listing. Before booking a property, research the host and the listing. Look for reviews from previous guests and check the host verification status. If a host has no reviews or verification, it might be a red flag. Use Airbnb's messaging system. Communicate with the host through Airbnb's messaging system rather than through email or phone. Yes, this ensures your conversations are recorded on the platform and can be used as evidence if there is a dispute. Be cautious of requests for money outside of Airbnb. Scammers may try to get you to pay outside of Airbnb's secure payment system. This is a red flag as it means you won't be protected by Airbnb's policies if something goes wrong. Read reviews and check the host's verification. I feel like they already said that. They already said that. Be wary of deals that seem too good to be true. If a deal seems too good to be true, it probably is. Scammers may offer discounted rates or other incentives to entice guests to book their fake listings. Do you hear that noise? It's coming from my husband's computer. That is creepy. How do I get that to stop? Did you guys hear that? Ugh. Sorry if we hear that a lot. Oh my gosh. Okay, let me try to figure this out. Oh, my bangs look crazy. Okay. I'm gonna see if I know what that noise is. What the heck? Pause. Is it Discord? Might be Discord, but I closed Discord before I started. Huh. I don't know. I don't know what that noise is. Hopefully it doesn't keep happening. Sorry, friends. Sorry, friends. Share screen. Let's try this again. So we finished that one. We can look at this one. So now we have some articles where we're going to learn more about Airbnb scams. This one is called Airbnb Let Fraudster Scam Guests for Months, Refuse to Refund Victims. This is from August 21st, 2023. And here you can see a sign on an apartment building that says no short-term Airbnb rentals, no short-term verbal rentals, and just no short-term accommodations at all, because there are some towns, some cities that have bylaws that outlaw short-term rentals, because it really does it rises the price of rentals around the neighborhood, because it does take away like rental options if more units in rental buildings are being rented out through Airbnb by their owners, then like there's less options. There's less affordable housing in those areas. I just did really broad research on that. Unfortunately, I can't go into any more detail. Shouldn't have brought it up if I can't provide detail, but there is a connection between Airbnb short-term rentals and increased housing costs. Okay. Airbnb allowed a fraudulent host to run a short-term accommodation operation for months in Vancouver, despite multiple guest complaints, while refusing to refund the victims. An investigation by Think Poll has found, and it's great to say, oh yeah, report to Airbnb, but we'll see here that Airbnb does not always want to protect its guests. Since January, a host under the alias Liam has used a stock photo tagged under senior businessman to pretend to be the owner of an apartment inside the Palisades. The building does not permit short-term rentals, yet Airbnb gave Liam an exception from requiring a business license and allowed him to list a nearby Waves Coffee House as an address. Oh, that's not going to work. I wanted it to be bigger. Liam further falsified information about the apartment through the listing description. He described the apartment as a luxury 3-bedroom apartment that could accommodate 12 people. But in reviews hidden from the listing page, guests revealed it was dirty, dated, dirty, moldy, smelled like urine, and only a 2-bedroom apartment that could legally accommodate 4 people. And in the one time I used Airbnb, they said you can fit up to 4 people in this apartment. There was one queen bed in the main bedroom where you could fit 2 people, and then there was Do you guys know what a Murphy bed is? Where it's like up in the wall and you can pull it down and there yeah, like you pull it down from the wall and then there was a double Murphy bed in the office area and so you could accommodate 4 people. It would have been small, but you could easily or not small, tight, but you could accommodate those 4 people. I'm not really sure how you could say a 3 bedroom can accommodate 12 people because say you have 2 people per bedroom, that's 6. I'm not sure where the other 6 people could live. That seems a little strange. Guests also revealed that Liam would not provide check-in details until the last minute. At that point, oh my God, a driver would instruct guests to meet at a public location. The driver refused to tell guests where the apartment was until they got inside. Guests were then snuck into the Palisades through the underground parking and given duplicated key fobs. Again, I didn't know how to use Airbnb, so I messaged the host within the app. I said, "Excuse me, I don't know anything about Airbnb. When will you tell me how to check in?" She said something like, 2 or 3 days beforehand, the system will automatically send you my check in message, but here it is now. Here's the instructions. This is how you get in. This is how you get out at the end of your stay. Message me if you need any help. And I did message her once or twice during the stay, and she got back to me within an hour. It should not be a secret how to check into your Airbnb. 3 bedrooms with 12 people seems like way too many people for the space. Exactly. That should be a bit of a red flag, I feel. Because, yeah, how would that even work, Demi? Like, yeah, 2 people per bedroom and then 6 people in the living room. But maybe there's multiple living rooms. Maybe there's multiple sofa beds potentially. Liam threatened guests to keep quiet about renting through Airbnb and to not stand around the lobby with their luggage because he technically wasn't allowed to do Airbnb rentals in his apartment building. One guest who filed a complaint spoke with Thinkpol and provided a detailed account of their experience, which showed Airbnb being slow to respond and continuously siding with Liam. So Liam's fucking lying to the guests, saying it's some beautiful apartment, and then it's some dirty, moldy apartment. They're probably paying a premium because they thought that it was a nice apartment, so he's defrauding them. And Airbnb's like, whatever, you're fine. Recently, the guests stayed in the apartment with their family, a total of 5 adults, 2 small children, and an infant. During their second day, they discovered their key fobs were no longer working. They tried to contact Liam but did not receive a response, so they went to the concierge. The concierge informed them that the key fobs were fake and showed them what the real ones looked like. The concierge also noted he didn't know anyone called Liam. The guests pleaded with the concierge to let them back to the floor to retrieve their belongings. The concierge did not offer help until the guests mentioned they had small children and an infant with them. He noted he could let them back up, but there's no other way they could come back. While the guests began packing, they contacted Airbnb's support team to inform them of the situation and request a refund. An employee told them they could not help and that their case would be passed onto a specialized team. An hour later, Airbnb's specialized team called the guests and told them that they would contact Liam and conduct an investigation. Another hour later, Airbnb claimed that Liam had proof that the building allows short-term rentals. That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter if the building allows it because he still defrauded the guests, saying that it was a beautiful apartment when it really wasn't. It doesn't matter. Okay, sorry. What underfunded government agency oversees Airbnb? Probably none if I had to guess. Let's Google it. I would guess Airbnb is not overseen by the government. Airbnb is registered with the Canadian Revenue Agency, Canada Revenue Agency. Who controls Airbnb? Airbnb is owned by groups of shareholders. Ben Chesky, who is the co-founder and CEO of Airbnb, is the most influential shareholder of the company. The other co-founders of the company are Joseph Gebbia and Nathan something of Vanguard Group Inc. So I'm assuming that it's not overseen by a government agency, but I don't actually know. Hello, Julie. It's lovely to see you. Thank you for joining. Okay, where am I? Meanwhile, Liam said the key fobs have been demagnetized and asked to meet at a nearby JJ Bean for a new pair. 20 minutes later, a man knocked on the door. He claimed he was Liam's employee and asked to verify if the fobs were not working. 10 minutes later, the man returned and said the key fobs were working again. The guests believed the employee was actually Liam and that they reprogrammed or replaced the key fobs to encourage them to stay. The guests left the apartment that evening and found new accommodations. The next day, Airbnb assigned the case to another employee who repeated that Liam had proof that the building allows short-term rentals. When the guest shared a photo of a door sign that linked the Strata bylaw stating otherwise, Airbnb assigned the case to another employee for the third time. So here are some emails from Airbnb support regarding this situation. Remember, there's multiple adults, small kid, an infant, and they were lied to and were told they were in a really beautiful apartment, and it was actually a dirty, unsafe apartment that they were in. So they were deceived. Upon checking, you were forced to move because Airbnb is not allowed in the building. However, your host was able to provide documents that short-term rentals is allowed. Do you have any documents stating that the building does not allow short-term rentals or Airbnb? Why is it on the guest to prove that an Airbnb listing is not, or Airbnb is not allowed in the building? In the meantime, kindly check these other listings if they would suit your preference and contact their host to confirm if they're able to accommodate you. They declined to offer a refund. Okay, no, let's go one at a time. So, in this message, instead of, I'm so sorry you were lied to and deceived, here's a refund. No, they're like, do our job for you. Prove that this scammer is allowed to have Airbnb in this building and choose some other listing. Just go somewhere else. That seems like great customer service. Hello, Anastasia. It's lovely to see you. Thank you for joining. Anastasia, I was thinking about doing a professional women's hockey league video because I want to talk about my favorite people in the league, like Alina Mueller or Sarah Nurse, Carla McLeod. I kind of just want to talk about my favorite people and talk about how long they've been playing on their national teams or what university teams they played on. And I think it'd be really cool to have a hockey video. Like one person might watch it, but I think it'd be really fun. So yeah, I'm thinking about doing that. 2 days later, Airbnb finally reached back out to the guest. Oh my God. They declined to offer a refund and insisted again that Liam had proof that the building allows short-term rentals. When the guests responded that they were disappointed and asked why the listing was exempt from having a business number, Airbnb ignored their question and said they would reassess the case. Regarding the place, hosts provided a copy of the contract of the property that they are allowed for renting. Regarding your report that the place is not for Airbnb rental, we already noted of that, and there'll be actions on the host account. Regarding the refund, we regret to inform you that we are unable to further help as refund will be host discretion. I understand that you want this to be escalated. I would like to let you know that Airbnb has the same policy and guidelines regarding air cover. I don't know what that is. This is almost done. And we'll move on to the next one. Yay! Anastasia's in. Yeah, I really want to talk about the league. It's so cool. So fun to watch. The next day, Airbnb assigned the case to another employee for the fourth time. It took another day for them to get back to the guests to inform them that their decision was final and that action would be taken against the host. Liam's account and listings remained active until ThinkPol conducted an investigation. During our investigation, we confirmed that the apartment's owner isn't named Liam and discovered more hidden reviews corroborating past guests' experiences. Thinkful found Airbnb makes it challenging for users to find all reviews on a listing. They would have to click on the host photo to access their profile page and then click on the See All Reviews button. That's sketchy. You should be able to just see all the reviews right away. Like, we shouldn't have to be clicking on multiple. Like, why would we think it's not intuitive to click on the photo and then you have to click on the See All Reviews button? So in this case, the reviews that showed that it was a dirty and moldy apartment were hidden at the back of the page. And if all reviews were just posted in a really accessible location, less people may be scammed by these types of people. Thinkful contacted Airbnb to ask how they plan to take action against fraudulent hosts like Liam and equip users to make more informed bookings, such as showing all reviews on the listing page. Thinkful also asked how they intend to work with local governments, train staff, and develop technology to properly verify host identity and listing information, prevent scams, and protect consumers when they need immediate support. Yeah, and I remember I had to verify my identity on Airbnb, and I looked this up to make sure it wasn't sketchy, but you have to take a picture of your license, and you have to like answer questions to show that you are who you say you are. So I would hope that hosts also have to verify their identity, but I don't understand that, like, how someone could be able to use a fake name on the platform if they're also required to provide a license. Let's see, identity verification for Airbnb hosts. I want to look at this. It's sketchy, right, Charlie? Oh, yes, they hide reviews, Demi. Isn't that so sketch? Oh, sorry, friends. Pause. Whenever I want to zoom, I always do it on the wrong page. Okay, I want to zoom on this page. Okay, we're gonna share this tab. We're not gonna read everything on this page, but I want to know. I want to know. Sorry, friends. So, verifying your identity. Our aim is for guests and hosts on Airbnb to be able to trust each other. We require listing hosts, new co-hosts, and booking guests to be confirmed. When you book a stay, or when you become a host, we need to verify your personal information, such as legal name, address, phone number, and other contact details. We may ask you for your government-issued ID and a selfie if we are not able to confirm your identity using the personal information you required. Okay, so that appears to be for hosts and for guests. Okay. This appears to be for hosts and for guests, but it is a little bit unclear. If you're hosting as a business, we may ask to provide additional information for your account, how long it takes to verify your identity. As a host, you'll need to verify your identity when creating a listing or experience for the first time, or if you've been invited to be a new co-host. Hosts might be asked to go through identity verification periodically for legal compliance reasons. Hosts who don't complete an identity ID verification when prompted may not be able to receive new bookings until they have done so. Okay, so they do apparently verify their host's ID. I don't really care about the guest's verification. I want to know about the hosts. This is for listings. If verification methods using the personal information you have provided are not available or not effective in your country of residence, we cannot successfully confirm your identity using this method. We will ask for a photo of your government issued ID. Your listing won't be published until the step is completed. Okay. if you're an existing host, a co-host who is listed as primary host or a host of experience, something, something. Okay. Okay, so I understand that if you're a host, a new host, a co-host, you still have to verify your identity. So I'm not fully understanding if someone could use like a fake name on their account. However, we're not doing extensive research on the topic, but it's just interesting that on a system that claims to protect its hosts and its guests through identity verification services, people are still able to like scam the system, I guess is my point. Hi, Tori. Nice. How was your shower? Awesome. Yeah, I just had a warm shower too. A photo of an ID should not be enough to confirm someone is who they say they are and that they're a safe host with an honest listing. Yeah, that's also a good point. That's a good point because we could just have a fake ID and they don't actually know who we are. Like, I don't know. I assume Airbnb is not conducting background checks on its hosts, but should it be? Should it be? I wonder. Or criminal record checks, right? Because whenever I have a new job or if I'm working with kids in a job, I'm required to do a criminal record check at the expense of the employer. But yeah, you're right. You're right. My opinion, someone should actually be vetting the hosts and listings more thoroughly. Same. I agree. That's a good point. That's a good point. Like just looking at someone's ID is not enough to make sure that they're actually someone who will follow the rules and like have an honest posting, because you could be who you say you are but still lie in your posting, right? And still try to steal people's identity. Good point. Let's go back here. Okay, this is where I got this from. I said Chris and William, maybe. For 4 days later, Thinkful discovered that Airbnb removed Liam's listings, yet a quick search showed that duplicate listings were created by a host under the alias William. William had other listings that we found were in buildings that do not permit short-term rentals for less than 30 days. The listings were exempt from requiring a business license despite users being able to book less than the minimum required. After Thinkful shared the listings with McMara, they were removed as well, who is the senior communications manager. I missed that part, sorry. Thinkful also contacted the city to ask if they're working with Airbnb to identify why listings in buildings that do not permit short-term rentals are exempted from requiring a business license. Thinkful also asked how they plan to prevent Airbnb from accepting listings with fake or invalid business licenses and noted it's an issue that has been going on for years. Chief License Officer Sarah Hicks responded, "The city is aware that not all listings are compliant with bylaws and that they have a number of tools to identify non-compliant listings and routinely escalates enforcement as necessary." Hicks added, "Using a number of sources including host compliance, which captures screen scrap data from multiple listing platforms, and the data provided through the MOU with Airbnb, the team investigates all unlicensed activity and ensures that licensed operators are following all regulations. Enforcements including audits, warning letters, tickets, license orders, inspections, and license suspensions." Okay. In an email to Thinkful, Counselor Lenny Zhu highlighted the presence of illegal short-term rentals is absolutely unacceptable. On Twitter, Zhu shared about the city's upcoming plans to address short-term rental issues. By September, the city will introduce advanced analytical tools to elevate our enforcement capabilities and facilitate more effective communication with short-term rental operators. My light fell. Oh well, it's kind of shitty anyways. I'm kind of interested in the MOU with Airbnb. From the city of Vancouver. This article was about this issue was in Vancouver, which is an incredibly expensive city to live in. And so if you have an Airbnb in Vancouver that falls through, I bet you hotels would be like hundreds and hundreds of dollars. You won't be able to find another affordable place to live in Vancouver, to stay in Vancouver, because of how extremely expensive it is in Vancouver. We're going to just skim this because we're not going to read this whole thing, but I feel like it's interesting to me. City signs first MOU in Canada with Airbnb. They've reached an agreement that supports the implementation of Vancouver's new short-term rental regulations. Airbnb will require hosts in Vancouver to update their short-term rental listings to display a business license. They have to list their short-term rental business license. If there's no oversight and no one checking the listings, it's not a safe business to work with, for sure. I find it really concerning that Airbnb doesn't seem to do anything to keep track of where short-term rentals are and aren't allowed. Exactly. And just accept, trust me, bro, from the host, and don't appear to independently check if apartment buildings allow short-term rentals. There are regulations in cities that you have to follow, and it should be on Airbnb to make sure that municipal requirements are followed. That's pretty surprising that they seem to not really care. You're right. One would think that Airbnb would have a standardized procedure or at least some minimum standards for a check-in. Here's some minimum standards in Vancouver. However, are they being followed? I'm not sure. Okay. New hosts have to include their business license as a part of their profile. Existing hosts have to obtain short-term business license. Apply online starting April 19th. The city estimates there are approximately 6,600 short-term listings, and Airbnb represents over 88% of their Vancouver market. Starting April 19th, owners and renters in Vancouver can apply online for a business license. Vancouver is doing more than any other city in Canada to tackle housing affordability. I'm not sure if that's true. Apparently, the city's new short-term rental regulations strike a fair balance for Vancouver residents who rely on income from short-term rentals to help make ends meet, while also recognizing that our first priority has to be making sure that Vancouverites have a secure and affordable place to call home. Ensuring compliance, because it's great to have an MOU, but how are you ensuring that that Airbnb is actually following it and enforcing it? Existing and new Airbnb hosts will be required to grant permission for Airbnb to share information with the city before they can list their rental. Excuse me. City Council approved regulations to allow Vancouver residents to rent their principal residence on a short-term basis. Okay. Preparation for applying online. Existing and potential operators can review the requirements checklist. Okay, starting April 19th, 2018, short-term rentals for stays of less than 30 days will be legal in Vancouver. They will only be allowed in a principal residence where the operator resides for more than 180 days of the year and receives mail. Interesting, so they can't just buy multiple apartments around Vancouver and list them on Airbnb. You can only list them if you live in the building for the majority of the year. That's interesting. And the license must be advertised, a short-term rental must be licensed before it can be advertised. Airbnb will include a field for all hosts to list their rental license. They need a business license. Okay. Residents who qualify to operate a short-term rental in their principal residence will have until August 31st to prepare for and obtain a business license. Okay, anyone as of April 1st or September 1st, 2018, anyone listing a short-term rental without a business license will be subject to a fine of up to $1,000 per day and potentially legal action. Commercial operators Commercial operators or other properties that do not qualify for the short-term rental business license program will be subject to these new fines effective April 19th. So that's a pretty detailed memorandum of understanding, but that is just for one major city in Vancouver that is trying to enforce the rules and ensure that Airbnb is not abusing the requirements, is actually being compliant with short-term rental bylaws. I just wonder, we can do more research into this, but I wonder how many other cities in Canada have MOUs with Airbnb. I wonder how compliant Airbnb actually is with these MOUs, and I wonder if there's any effort to kind of like skirt the requirements and ignore them. I wonder because this all looks great on paper, but there's only so much you can do, and the city has an enforcement team, which is great. And the Airbnb hosts have to provide information to Airbnb or to the city, and that's great. But how do you know an Airbnb host isn't just going to ignore that requirement? Maybe they'll get a fine, but how many City of Vancouver staff are allocated to this area? Because in municipal government, there's often a capacity issue. Do we actually have the staff required to ensure compliance? I don't know because I'm not there. Okay, now I'm all confused. Okay, we just read that one. Okay. Do. Okay, we already read that one from Demi up here. Oh, we already read that one. Sorry. I feel like making sure your business complies with local laws is just a basic thing that one should be doing. Exactly. Exactly. Love this comment. Love this comment. Because I'm sure there are some hosts who probably try really hard to follow all the rules, and then maybe there's just an oversight and they forget something. Or there could be hosts who maliciously don't follow the rules and who try to scam people and ignore municipal regulations just to make more money. This is from February 29th, 2024. Airbnb scammers pose as hosts and redirect users to fake TripAdvisor site. Malwarebytes researchers came across the Airbnb scam when trying to book an apartment through the platform. The owner/scammer noted in the listing that those interested in booking the property should contact him by email to check for availability. The scammer replies to the victim's email and tries to get the user to book the apartment via TripAdvisor. My name is Carla. I am a co-host of this property. Your dates are available. Currently, we are encountering technical difficulties with the Airbnb calendar system, so we decided to use TripAdvisor.com as our main platform. Because the Airbnb platform has very high fees, I choose to only use TripAdvisor.com. If you'd like to book our property, I need to know first some information about you, your name, your country, and how many persons will stay with you in our property. Also, I want to confirm me your email address. I will then make all the arrangements and I will send a TripAdvisor invitation through TripAdvisor.com in order to complete the reservation. So just like the job scams, like this is a very poorly written email. And in the job scams one, we were told that if a job offer comes through email and there's grammatical errors, spelling errors, then that could potentially be a red flag. So that reading this seems like a red flag. And we also learned a way to avoid Airbnb scams is to never pay a host or communicate with a host outside of the Airbnb system. My building has no short-term rental rule. People still tried to Airbnb but got shot down quickly. Good. That's been a huge problem in the US. People buying rental properties they don't live in and renting them as Airbnb has greatly reduced the number of long term rentals available in some areas. I feel like that's what I tried to say earlier in the video, but I did a really bad job. So thank you for expressing that in a way that I could not. So it's very dark, but my eyes are hurting. Yeah, if you have one person who bought 20 rentals to rent out on Airbnb, that is those it's less rental apartments available for those who actually need somewhere affordable and somewhere safe to live. I blame Airbnb for a lot of issues with housing, not all, but a lot for encouraging that kind of thing. Yes, exactly. To add credibility to the scam, the victim receives another email, ostensibly from TripAdvisor's platform, urging them to complete the bookings by following the shortened URLs in the first email. Unfortunately, these links point to a spoofed TripAdvisor site that instructs the victim to sign up and enter payment card details. Further research based on the URL to the fake TripAdvisor website showed us that these scammers have probably been active for quite some time, the researchers said, pointing out that they found 200 websites relating to the scam. 26 of them were structured similar to TripAdvisor pre blah 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 and related sites. Okay. Spotting and avoiding such scams. One of the recommendations, don't make bookings outside of the regular platform. This includes all communication, sharing personal information, paying or asking for payment for a reservation. They allow offsite bookings only when they are approved in advance and guests have been informed before booking. The company also explains how users can identify emails and websites that impersonate Airbnb and helpfully list official Airbnb domains. Scammers are always trying to create a sense of urgency, so you click before you can think. Don't get rushed into making decisions. Double check the website again before entering personal details or financial information. Customers seeking a hotel accommodations are also. Okay, that's another thing. So that's an interesting one. They're directed to make a payment outside of the Airbnb platform. They're brought to a spoofed TripAdvisor site. They are told to enter in their bank account information, and their money is stolen. Okay, we have one more. I know we've covered a lot. It's a whole Airbnb to megacorp property buy-up and inflate rental rates pipeline. Yes, you and Lisa both said what I tried to say earlier so well. Yes, such a good point. And Jolene is late again. No worries, Jolene. Thank you so much for joining. We're almost done. We've been through a lot. We got through a lot of information today. It was really fun to learn about this with all of you. So thank you for being here. So this is a Reddit post from r/Airbnb from 5 months ago. Okay. Airbnb is supporting a scammer. After my husband and I recently checked out host name Awesome Experiences, we received a request for $500, stating extra cleaning was required due to smoking in the home. We are not smokers and never have been smokers. The host, Awesome Experience, placed cigarette butts in a coffee cup and sent the pictures to Airbnb. Awesome Experience also claims we stained their mattress. Of course, we did not, and the sheets raised, showing what looks like really old mattress stains, are not only not stained, but also are not even the same color sheets from our stay. Although we have used Airbnb multiple times with no complaints, as we always consider ourselves a guest in someone's home and take extra care of their properties, leaving them just as or better than we found them, Airbnb has backed the host and their stage photos. I will not be paying $500 for something I did not and would not do. Has anyone dealt with this kind of thing before or have any advice? Write a review on Airbnb's Trustpilot page. Happened to me in 2016, and Airbnb would not believe us. They wanted 10K because they said we had a huge party and smeared feces on the walls. We were staying there to be close with my mother-in-law who was dying, so no, we weren't partying. Airbnb took a huge security payment, and then the house wanted us to pay more, so we referred them to our homeowner's insurance. They backed off then because they knew insurance would investigate, but we were still out several thousand, and Hubs had a bad review. I don't know what that means. Can still look under my name. Oh, like the husband the host left a bad review for the husband. Okay. Can still look under my name, but we mostly do hotels more reliable. And to be honest, Airbnb just taking their word against ours without any recourse was untenable. So in this case, in two cases, the hosts staged photos or claimed that they had some big loud, rowdy party and demanded thousands of dollars from these guests when they didn't actually do it. And then Airbnb appeared to just take the word of the host without any recourse, without any proof. And I can just imagine, like this, they said 10K, that's enough to bankrupt someone. Can you imagine being bankrupt because you stayed in an Airbnb, because you were told it was secure, because you were told that it was a nice apartment, you treated the apartment with respect, and then you were told that the host was lying about you and said you owed them thousands of dollars because you destroyed their house when you actually didn't. Mm-mm. We learned a lot today. We learned about the different types of Airbnb scams. Sorry, I was like way up there. My chin was disappearing. I need to sit up straight. These scams can include fake listings, phishing scams, overpayment scams, theft and damage, identity theft, multiple listings, doctored imaging, fake reviews. We learned about someone named Liam who scams people because he says that he has a lovely 3-bedroom apartment, but it's actually a gross apartment. And Airbnb will not give people refunds when they were lied to and deceived into thinking that they were staying in a luxury apartment when they really weren't. We learned about the Airbnb Memorandum of Understanding with the City of Vancouver. I think Charlie or Demi said this. That seems focused on the Airbnb hosts, not on Airbnb as a company, ensuring its hosts are compliant with municipal regulations. We learned to never make payments not through the main Airbnb system because they will get you to put in your credit card information and they will steal your money. So never make a payment for Airbnb outside of the Airbnb system. Don't even communicate with your hosts outside of the system. Don't do anything outside of this system. We learned that hosts and guests get their identity verified through a picture of their driver's license and a selfie. But like Demi said, that is not enough information to know that the host and the guest are safe and respectable people who will treat each other and the building with respect, and that the host and the guest will be safe. There's no way to ensure it just through a picture of an identity card, whatever it may be, that the guest and the host will be safe. What else did we learn? It opened your eyes. Yay, Charlie. That's great. I'm glad. I'm glad so many people were here. I know these are not like the same kinds of videos that lots of people would watch before. So I'm very pleased that I have anyone here at all. Even if there's one person, I'd be pleased. I'd be excited. Yes, everywhere you look nowadays, there's a scam. I'm going to type in my YouTube email. I'm been keeping an eye out for other scams I can talk about on my channel. But if you guys think of any that you think are interesting, I would love it if you could send me an email. No pressure though, but I'm trying to think of interesting and different topics for this channel, and I'm really enjoying this scam focus. This was awesome. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Charlie, for being here. It was awesome to see you. I really appreciate everyone being here. I hope you have a great evening, and I will see you on Sunday for my next video.